Hello, Miguel. How are you?
Hi, David.
Nice to be here because you are so important for this project. We are waiting for more people because there are more people that are enrolling in this journey, and we want to waiting. When the song finish, we start it. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Miguel Álvarez, President of Juventudes Activas de León. Juventudes Activas is a not-profit young association in León that signed 22 has been dedicated to organizing alternative leisure activity and social inclusion of young people. For me, it's an honor to be presenting this conference today. For an association so small for us. It is a luxury to participate in this event of these characteristics. The project Teatro Activo, driven by Juventudes Activas, is a program funded in city of León, Spain, that initially seeks to promote inclusion and prevent social exclusion among teenagers and young people in León through theatrical practice with 4 editions. We have faced various challenges that have culminated in the social ecological theater project, Proyecto Teatro Social Ecologico. This shift occurred as groups were formed with participants to are refugees for Mali, refugees from the war of the Ukraine. This initiative not only enriched the artistics offerings for young people in the city, but contribute to cultural and artistic activities that combat marginalization and social exclusion. In this point, that's the training social company in this program, Naturhaze, dedicated to present this interesting project in Erasmus Plus, which in 2 years has resulted in excellence manual and introduced a mood course. Thank you, David. Has been a pleasure to be here today. At Juventudes Activas, we are very proud to have participated in this beginning of something that ultimately tour much large and reach several European countries, such as Italy and Portugal. We hope that this is not the end, but the beginning of a tool of values formation and integration of people who have suffered so much and who hope our countries insert a better future. A young without principles, without memory, without social conscience, cannot have a future. Without further ado, I want to welcome benvenuto, willkommen, benvido, everyone to this presentation of Social Ecological Theater. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miguel. You are so appreciated because you will be here is so important for us because Activas is a very important young association in León and make a lot of things, and one of these is this one. And for us, it's very important to be here. I think I have the idea to be here with you because you start everything with you and Fernando, because this idea don't will be happen if you don't be in the first step. And thank you very much to the welcome. You are welcome always for this kind of of activities, and I want to start with you in this journey. Now I'm going to present me. It's so stupid, but it's okay. My name is David Santos. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Naturhaze. This journey, the idea is to show all of the people that are interested in theater and social integration in this world of try to help the people that come for our countries to see a new future. In my speech, I want to speak in three important points. In the first, I want to start with the idea of the theater like a tool to integrate the people, and I want to explain where does the idea come from, because social ecological theater start in the beginning with a small idea to integrate people with the theater only, but then he start with enroll with another focus on another goals that we want to develop. Teatro Activo, like Miguel said to us, it was a program that it was did in León, and we do it now in our days, but he started in the city of León, and he was developed with the help of Activas Young Association and the financial of City Council of León. Initially, he like Miguel said to us, starting 4 years ago, and the focus of the project was the social and labor integration of young people in the city at risk of social exclusion. However, in the second edition, we realized that one of the groups that could benefit the most from using theater as a tool for social integration was foreign and refugees resident in the city, who has groups consist mainly of individuals from Africa countries. We can tell us one. There are a lot of countries, because I really know that there are a lot of people who come to León, because León is a small city in the northwest of Spain, that come for this city, that several countries: Mali, Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Morocco, and in the last year we have in the course 50% of participants Ukraine, because there are, with the war, there are a lot of immigrants that come to Spain and other parts of Europe to seek asylum. In other hand, we can find in these groups Russian, Afghans, Malians, Moroccans again, Turkmen, Ivorians, and another more. The initial experience, like Miguel said to us, in Teatro Activo project, allowed to us to see the potential of the tool. Ecological theater, social theater, is a very big and important tool for us, because we can create another way to include to help these people. We use ecological aspect was added, because we believe that most of eco-conscious and new sustainable production techniques they can help them. Many of the students, especially Africans, have a background in agriculture. If we can introduce them these skills, improve their employability and basic knowledge in the sector, and facilitate their integration in our industry that requires this kind of industry requires labor with a real intention to hard work. With the invaluable help of Juan Antonio Sanchez, the technical director of IRMA company, is a small company here that he's a passionate of mycologist. He helped to us very much because he supported us and put in the way to create this project. We were able to formulate the mission, vision, values, and real impact of the project. These three few words is so important for us because with that we can explain what's the meaning of social ecological theater. Okay, I'm going to explain what is the mission of the project, the vision that we have. In the end, I want to explain what is the real impact in the users. Okay. Mission: what we do, why do we do it, and who do we do it for? Okay. Mission of the project. The most important when you start on this kind of projects is to know what we do. When we start with that, we're thinking to help the people that come for our countries to involve in our society and have a job, because the job is the best way to introduction in our society. These theater courses activities was designed to provide the participant with a practical tool and experience that promotes social and linguistic inhibition. This is so important because more of them, they don't have a lot of control of the local language, and so they have a lot of problems with that. With the practical of theater, they can develop skills and social and cultural activities that they can provide integration, and maybe we try to it will happen employee placement, especially in the field of agroecology. Why we do it? It's important. Why is important? Important question. We do it with the aim of empowering participants. We provide them with skills and knowledge that go beyond theater. We seek to facilitate adaptation to new cultures and environments, promote creative expression, foster social and cultural inclusion, improve participant job prospects through the unique combination of theater and agroecology. The end of the questions is why we do it. We do it because we do it for this seeking integrate new communities and culture, individuals who want to develop practical theater skills and amplify them in the work context. And those we see the theater an effective tool to overcome linguistic and social barriers. Our focus is provide opportunities for the individuals interested in agroecology, using theater and our means for their personal and professional development. With this question, we can answer a lot of things to can see our mission. In that, we develop a tool that is a manual. In the first was a draft guide that we can prove in different groups, and the idea was to prove in Spain. In the first step, we have some experience because we did the Teatro Activo, but we want with this project to prove in another countries like Italia and Portugal. And then in this journey, on present day, we can see what's happening in this place and what happened in Spain, because we don't do this course in León. We did in Malaga. The idea of the course was create a new innovative method. Is so important because ecological social theater is a new innovative method. We use theater that is knowledge. This knowledge is real, and we can use like a tool, but we using to integrate and in the lab and to try to integrate the refugees and expatriates in agroecologic sector. Sorry. The next step is create synergies about this methodology with the idea that the workers and the entities that work with expatriates, asylum seekers, and refugees using the method. It's so important because now we have the tool, but then we need to try that the other organization use it because it's so important that you have a new tool, the other entities use it to develop the idea and use it and try to prove it is real the impact that happen in the lives of these kind of people. The mission of the project was accelerate the social economic integration method for expatriates, asylum seekers, and refugees. And finally, we want to educate these people to fight against the climate change and the rural population in these communities. I want to train the people and educate that they need to understand they are in another continent with another kind of values, and I think so is not better than their values, but they must to know and try to understand. Okay, I want to continue with the vision of the project. The vision of the project can explain with the achieved goals and the changes we want to achieve. Okay, now I want to explain in the first step the goals of the projects. This project we had three achieved goals that now is happening. The TSE manual that you can see in our website, the website of the project. It was produced with the help of the Fernando, Alisa, Lucia, and Ines. And it is translated in 4 languages: Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and English. This is our first tool. In this manual, we can condense all of the knowledge that we learned in this trip. Okay, in the first step, we think when we brought the project to develop a free introduction mock course. The idea of this course that now is in YouTube, in the platform, is totally free. The idea is to the people who want to be near of the project to understand the manual, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time and you don't have a lot of experience of that, and you need some help to understand some concepts and ideas. This is the idea of the mod course, because these courses they don't use a lot of complicated activities. Some people that know a little bit, but know about the theater, can use the manual and the activities that the manual propose to develop the one course in ecological social theater. In the last of these goals of the project is to promote, I want to say dissemination. Okay, the idea is promote and use the methodology with entities working with these groups, such in Spain, for example, CIAR, Caritas, Cruz Roja, Red Cross in Portugal, and other similar entities. We want to show this methodology, and we want these entities start to use it, because these entities in normal way when the asylum seekers and refugees arrive to the countries, start with a way to help these people with different courses, like language course, some course of different kind of works, and they want to try that they can start to go to a normal life in a few time, but sometimes it's difficult. And I think this methodology can help us so much. Okay, now you have the goals, but we are talking about the vision, okay? And I want to show that we don't want to wait here, okay? We don't want to put this methodology, these tools in a packet and put in the in the ground and forgotten it. We want to develop more. Our idea is when the project finishes, advance desarrollate two ideas: advanced course of trainees in social ecological theater. The idea is the people who are so interested of that we can help us with a personal and through meetings and something course with a special training for people who want to make this kind of course. The other way is seeking fundings to implement such a course in entities throughout Europe as a social integration tool for organization working with expatriates, asylum seekers, and refugees. This is the idea. The idea is try to find more funding to make more cures and try to use this methodology in other countries and states that this methodology can use in all of the bureaucracy and the way that the different countries use to integrate the asylum seekers. Okay. With that, I want to finish with the real impact of the user because with these goals, this vision, these ideas to going on and maintain the project alive, we need to explain the people what was our experience and what is the real impact on the users. Why ecological and social theater works. This is the idea because if we won't can explain this. It's impossible that this methodology continue in the future. The real impact in the users we can see in four steps or for ideas that we can see with our experience. In the first time, this methodology can help them because they can integrate in social and linguistic inhibition with the host countries. In Spain, for example, we don't have a lot of students with problems with this kind of problems of linguistic because already spoke Spanish. In Italy and Portugal, however, they face in this problem. Nevertheless, through the youth theater, they managed to overcome inhibition. We speak the language, facilitating interaction with the natives. It's so important because with the social ecology theater, we can help them to start to participate in the host society of the country. For example, in Spain, in Italy, in Portugal, Germany, everywhere. In the first step, the students that did this course, they learn and training in theatrical practice. Okay, with this, the participants gaining to the ability to engage more effectively with their surroundings, speak in public, and generate empathy and acquire essential skills need to achieve the project and other objectives. The idea is with these skills, they can develop more his own skills to go to integrate in the new society. Okay. With that skills, they can develop better the social and cultural integration. Okay, that is the next step. We can use different theatrical activities that mechanisms participants get to know the custom and norms on the host countries. This allows them to understand how is the country. For example, I always explain that sometimes with the people of Mali or foreign people, they don't understand what is the way to go a bar and drink a coffee, because in their countries this way of life is different, and we must to make some role playings to explain them to understand this to understand this way to life. It's different, but it's no better. With that, we want to finish with most important of the impact that we can see in the users is to try to use the theater like a tool to integrate the people in the field of labor. How can facilitate that for the participants? We can see with the role plays, because sometimes we use mechanisms to explain, for example, how is the police interview or a typical work sense. They can learn what is happening in the host country is the way to solve their daily problems, the daily problems that the users have. With these role playings and activities, there are a lot of more in the manual you can see. We tried to show them the way of life of European countries and the way of broken this glass to understand our society, the way to have the fair experience of this kind of activities, because this is a role play, for example, the police interview, but when they have a real police interview, they can know how is the police act and the way to interactuation with them. And with this point, I will now pass the floor in my colleague, Mr. Fernando Paniagua, that is my partner in this journey, because we start with this project together, and we believe that another kind of work is possible. Who is the driving force and the ideologies of this project? He has been responsible to the directive manual with another teachers of the Italian and Portugal. I want that he will provide some more in-depth explication about the project, what is the meaning, and share with all of the people that is now in the present day the experience that we gain in the process. And with that, I will finish my presentation, and I think I can explain very good. I don't know if it's possible to explain very well that, but I try to understand what is the birth of the project and what is our mission, vision, and the impact of the people with this project. Thank you very much, and I always like to finish with a sentence. I like this. The best way is want to remains to come. The best is want to remains to come. Lo mejor queda por venir. Thank you very much, and now I left with Fernando. Fernando, you are here?
Hello to everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody to stay here. And I would like to say, especially for the people involved in the project, congratulations. We are finishing this big project, and I think that the results are being really fantastic. I think we have done a good job, and in that sense, I would like to say thank you and congratulations, especially for the teachers of Italy and from Italy and Portugal. Julia, Ines, Lucia, everybody, thank you. And I would like to start talking or taking. I would like to start talking about or making a reflection about why why we did this project. Okay, sometimes we are forgetting when you start to when you enter to do a project, you focus on the project, and sometimes we forget why are we doing that. Okay, in this sense, I would like to say that it's really important to understand what is the problem of the refugees and asylum seekers in the European Union. In this sense, I think that the importance or the thing why the manual is important is because we are fighting or we are going front a very big problem and very important problem in the last years in the European Union. In this sense, I would like to do a little remembering about the process of how this problem have been bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I think in the 2015 there were a very big crisis, the refugee crisis. If you don't know, I can explain. In that year, for different conflicts in the world, mainly in Syria, in Afghanistan, and Iraq, there were a very big movement of people, forced movement of people, and a lot of a big part of this movement of these people arrived to the European Union. We have different numbers about this, but more or less we know that 1 million of people arrived just in 2015 to the European Union. From this crisis, that is important to understand that a lot of these conflicts are responsibility, or the European countries and the states are in the most of them are guilty of part of these conflicts. But from these conflicts and from this year, from 2015, the European Union start to see that the problem of the forced movement of people, the displacement, start to be a big problem for us. Okay, and for me that's the problem. We have started to see that the refugee or asylum seeker, it's a problem and not an opportunity. And for me, this project is important for this. I would like to explain. From 2015, European Union is seeing that refugee or asylum process is a big problem that how to, and we are asking ourselves how to go in front of this problem. But the thing is that I think it's not a problem. I would like to explain this. Like in 1958, the Geneva Convention of United Nations said that a refugee is a human right or a human process that it has to be going front. But it's not a problem. It's the way that the global system said, okay, if you have a problem, I'm gonna help you. And because we are humans, it's more than just a problem. But the problem is that the European Union have started to see this like a problem. It's always like a problem. From the 2015, following in the subsequent years, it's true that the number of refugees decreased the next years, but it follows to be very high. We have a very high number of refugees and asylum seekers from this state. And the European Union has always the same problem. We are gonna see how can we do this. And we have a very big problem, or the European Union, or the states of the European Union have spent a lot of time discussing not how to integrate these people. They are discussing how we are gonna distribute, how to serve these people in the European states. So we are not saying, and that's the message. We are not saying that refugee is a responsibility that we have to do good, well, that we have to go in front in order to integrate these people. We are saying this is a problem, I don't want this, if you can put in the other side, give to the other states. And for me, the importance of the Social Ecological Theater Project is that we are not watching, or we are not going from this problem like a problem. We are, we know that the refugee process is normal, it's natural, it's going to happen. It has happened in the human history for a lot of times. And we have to see how we are going from, but not like a problem, like a normal thing that is happening, we have to go in front. Okay, in this sense, the manual and the project don't try to say refugee is a problem or asylum process is a problem. We are trying to see that, okay, asylum process has to be an opportunity in order to see how can we integrate these people, and how can we get that these people be an apport for our societies. Okay, for me that's the most important thing that this project involves. We are trying to put a new perspective about the refugee or the asylum process. In this sense, it's not just this project. There are another projects that are using this new perspective or this different perspective. And I think has happened another thing from the 2022 with the Ukraine war. The European Union, European States conscience has changed a little in this sense. Okay, or the politicians, European politicians, still thinks that asylum process is a problem, but now we know that we can't stop this. So we understand with the Ukrainian movement of people that we have to go in front to integrate these people. Okay, in this way, there are a thing that I think is very conflicted. We are being different with Ukrainian people. That is okay. We are recepting with a lot of facilities, much more than with another people that come from another conflicts that European states are involved doing that in that process, in that conflicts. But we, before the Ukrainian people, we see just like a problem. And from the Ukrainian people, the perspective of the way of think about asylum have changed a little, and have started to be more projects that are trying to put the focus on integration, not just in how to share or how to distribute. Like you know, this year or the last year, 2023, in the final of the year, in the end of the year, the European Union, finally the states according or decided on a specific politic in how to distribute the refugee people, the migrants and the refugee people in the European Union. It's a step. I think it's important that we have finished with this. Okay, we now know how to distribute the refugee people. But for me, the big problem again with this accordance of the European states is that we have not yet how to integrate that. And for me, the big problem now is how to integrate these people. And like I want to say, it's that the manual and the project, Social Ecological Theater Project, is important for this. I think the importance of this kind of projects are that we are starting to see how to integrate these people. Okay, in a second part of the project, I think David and Miguel has talked about this, but I would like to talk a little about the origin of the idea of the project. I don't know if the most of you have read the manual. It is inside the manual, but I would like to talk again here. Like David was saying,
Fernando, I want to tell you that today we have a 75 downloads of the manual, because I think it's so important, because we don't put up in the web a long time ago. And in the mob course, we have 200, more or less 200 views, and I think it's important to share with the people, because we try to disperse this idea. I think it's very good for us, for everybody, that this kind of methodology arrives to a lot of people. Sorry, I only want to.
No, that's
use
nice. That's the thing that we are trying to start. No, we are trying to put the sim to start to the Social Ecological Theater Project. I think is an initial project. Okay, we are in a step where we are changing the perspective. Okay, and in this sense, it's nice that people start to see this and start to take conscious that asylum is a thing. It's not a problem. It's a reality that we have to go in front. Okay, so nice the numbers. Okay, let me go back with the explanation, because in English I can lose very easy. Okay, like I was saying, when we started with a simple workshops for people with problems of social exclusion. In León, we started in 2019, if I remember. Okay, I think. In this workshop, the first year appears a group of Mali people, or people from Africa, and most of them from Mali. If you don't know, Mali is a country with there are a civil war, and we have very big problem now. We have the problem that they have put out the European countries and have take the help from the Russia, and so it's a very big conflict. But when this group was formed and we started to work to them, we had a lot of doubts and a lot of problems. What are we gonna do? How are we going in front with this group? What capacity we have to do something good for them, and trying and making mistakes and starting to see and taking contact with this group of refugees. It's like we start to think and to see the potential of the theater like an integration tool. Okay, I would like to see that group was marvelous, and we got a lot of things with them. We start to make that they take contact with the host country, in this case Spain, with the society of the city of León. We start to see what was the possibilities to work, how can we use the theater in order to get the social integration, the cultural integration, and the labor integration too. And in this work, improving and trying and experimenting, we was watching a lot of advance, and we start to say ourselves that we can try to do something more serious, more standardized, in order to get a system for use the theater in order to integration. And specifically from this first group, where the most of the people come from Mali, from Africa, and we could see that the most of the people come from the rural areas, and in a lot of cases was people that was working in agriculture sector or area. And when we start to see with this group the possibilities of labor integration, we saw that a lot of these people was very interested and had a lot of capacities in order to work in the agriculture field, or in the agriculture space. And so it was like the idea of develop our more concrete methodology to do the integration of the people in a social, cultural, and labor, in agricultural labor integration, was started to do, no? And it was the origin of the project that we are presenting now, and the manual. Okay, And I would like to talk a little about how from this process with this first process with the refugees is grow up in order until to be a standardized system. That is the thing that I think or I hope we have got with the project. In this sense, David was talking a little about the system and the things that are in the manual, and I want to take a little the same that David has said, but develop this a little more. For me, the most important of this process is that we have got to develop a structure in order to see how to go in front or how to develop a process of integration with refugee peoples. Obviously, and we have had with the project the possibility to do 3 pilot courses that have been nice or have been very useful in order to see the mistakes or in order to perfect some things, no? But in the most of the case, I think we in Italy and Portugal and Spain, where the pilot course had been, we could see that there are some parts of the process that are shared. That always happens, and the thing that we have tried to do is to put this in a common structure. We have tried to do something that now, if anybody comes to the manual, get the manual, is gonna be able to use in order to replicate a process, maybe with some change, maybe with the difference of the different groups, but we have got a system in order to start to work with these people in use the theater for the integration and specifically for the labor integration. David was saying too, was talking too, about the 4 parts that we have divided this structure, and I want to remember now. We have divided this structure in 4 parts, and the first, but we didn't do from the theoretical thing to the practice. We did from the practice to the theoretical, and that's the thing that I think is in the why the manual is important, and the manual is a good job for me, because we have talked the different process, and we have talked our experience, our direct experience, in order to develop a system based on the reality. In this sense, the 4 steps are very clear in the manual, and are a first step of disinhibition and initial contact. And this phase, I think Julia and Ines are okay with me. We discovered in this process that one of the big problems of the refugees people is normal, is obviously, is that they have not usually a contact with the society where they are living, and in the most of the case they come from very traumatic situations. I'm talking the whys of the asylum process. The most of the people who has participated in the workshops and are people who comes from that are in an early process, early integration process, early asylum process, and they come from very traumatic situations, like I was saying. And you have to understand that that means that the most of them come from the war, come from very conflictive situations, come in a lot of cases their life was in risk. And the first thing when we start with the process of theater was to say hello. Okay, this is the initial contact. Okay, I know you have a lot of fears. I know you have a lot of problems. I know you have not contact with this society in the most of the case, or you have a very little, very few contact with this society. Okay, we are gonna use the theater in order to say hello to you, and to start to say, okay, we are not gonna do we are not gonna do anything bad for you. We are gonna help you. And in this case, it was very important for us, this part of the process, because the objective is not to learn a lot of things in this part of the process, but is to get the confidence of the people who participate in order to develop the rest of the process. Okay, David was talking too about this part you use usually to make a linguistic introduction or language learning introduction. It's important to say that the most of the European states in the asylum process put an language classes, and the objective of our project was not to teach Spanish or to teach Italian or Portuguese, but it was the objective to reinforce to help in this sense. No? So in Spain, like David was saying too, we had not this problem. The most of the people that we had in our pilot course was people from Latin America or people who comes from the east of Europe that in few months had a little capacity to talk Spanish. We had not a very big problem with the language, but for example, Portugal and the pilot course in Portugal and in Italy, they had this big problem. And in this sense, this initial contact is used to say hello, to take confidence, but is always useful in order to a little introduction in the linguistic system. Oh, in the linguistic, in the country language. I'm sorry. After this step, when we have got, or we have seen that that the people has trust, has got a little of confidence, we started with another part that is introduction to theatrical practice. It's important to understand, and it's important this part because usual and when we tried before in the first process that we did with refugee and asylum peoples, asylum seekers people, we always try to enter in our culture very quickly. Let's go. And in this pilot course, we discovered that it's important first of this, the people take some confidence in order to do theater. The most of the people that arrive to our course, our workshops, is people that never have done theater before. The most. There are some cases that yes, but the most of the people has this problem. And we sometimes was forgetting that people didn't know theater. So we started to do exercise of theater in order to integration. And we discovered in this pilot course that it's important, first of all, start to learn, to teach how to do theater. Obviously, in the time that we had, we can make a very big process of teaching, but we try to use some sessions, some parts of a little part of the project in order to start to do little exercise, for the participants take confidence, for the participants take a little of knowledge about how to do theater. And it's good because this part reports the part of the disinhibition. They start to be more in confidence. They start to lose the fear that they have. They start to take contact with, this is important. Usually the teachers are the first or one of the first contacts that refugees and asylum seekers are taking with the host country. For me, that's another of the big problems of the asylum system. We are putting in a lot of cases we are putting the refugee people or asylum seekers people in a centers where they live between themselves, and they have not a direct contact with the host societies. In this sense, this activity is not just this theater, the theater, but another activities that are focused in integration has to break this closely, because the problem of they live in the same center is they don't have contact with the people from outside. And in this sense, this second part of introduction in theatrical practice is important because it's the time where they are taking contact with a person, the teacher, who is from the host country. And you are, I was talking this with Ines a lot of times. Well, in any way, when you are the teacher, you start to be the father or the mother of these people. I think it's not the perfect relation in this case, but it happens. It's very common that these people start take a relation like you are my teacher, not just theatrical teacher. You are my teacher of this country. You are a teacher of this culture. Okay, and in this sense, this second part is important in order to get this confidence or this trust with the teacher. There is a third part that for me, I think has been the most interesting in the pilot course. That is the social and cultural integration. It's logical to think that, like I was saying, the most of these people is in an early time of the process of asylum, and like I was saying, they live in a centers outside of the host reality, and we discovered that the theater was nice in order to break the first that they have to start to make a relationship with the host country. In this sense, we used different ways to go in front in the different pilot course. But for example, I am going to talk in Spain. In this case, we started to do very role playing exercise. We start to do some invisible exercise, and this start to put these people and in to take the confiance in order to start the relationship. In parallel with this, we could see in Spain that these people, after this, use the things that they learn on theater in order in their real life, and it was very satisfactory for me, and I think for the project. It was very satisfactory to see that they started to take the things that they learn in the theater, and it serves in order to they start to open their world and to start to connect with the host society, the host country. In the most of the case, it's important to say this social and cultural integration was very relationship with the concrete reality of these people. We tried to put some exercise and to do role-playing exercise, these kind of things, very connected with the real problems that they have. For example, one example is important for us, was very important for us, for them and for us to start to do exercise that was about the bureaucracy system, exercise that was about the normal life, how to go to a shop, how to go to a coffee to a coffee shop, how to go to the market, how to talk to your cousin, this kind of things. And I think it was very useful. And I think I spent a lot of time. Sorry, I'm going a little faster. And the last step was the employment or the labor insertion. In the same way that we was using in the social and cultural integration, we start to use some exercise, different exercise, in order to promote, to involve a labor integration. In this sense, I have to say that we had some problems, no problems, but there were differences from the groups that we come from with refugees from Africa. In the pilot course, we had people from different parts, and we discovered that there were people that was not very interested in agriculture side. There were people that yes, but there were people that not. So we decided to divide the process in a more general system of teach in order to go in front the way to get a job or to start to work. I remember Julia was talking to me about how to do a curriculum and how to put in a labor enterprise, how to go that. We did some general process in order to get a job. It was part of the process. And in this part, we tried with the people more interested to start to do some process in order to put closer to the agroecological work. We did this with role playing. We did a visit here in Spain. We go to agroecological, I don't know the name, agroecological file, and it was nice because they had a direct contact, and they after that in the exercise of the classes in the classroom we start to do some exercise that are close to the work in the agroecological system. I want to say that in Spain, some of the people that was involved started to work in agroecological system. It was very satisfactory for us. In the workshop that we has done before the project, a lot of people go to this file of Labo file, and I think it's a interesting way in order to this, and that's part are the 4 parts that we have proposed in order to get. That's the main contenido, the main content of the manual, and I think this manual is important for this because we are giving an answer, a concrete answer to the reality of the asylum. I think I am over time, so I am closing.
Don't worry, Fernando, don't worry.
Okay, and that's our 4 parts of the manual. I think this manual is still a starting part of a very big process that has to be the activities and the use of the theater in order to integration these people. But I think it's a good first step. And so now I think are going to talk the responsibles, the teachers from Portugal and Italy, and I gave my turn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando. We're so proud of you because we are spend a lot of time and a lot of experience with that, and I'm very proud to be here. And now I want to present Julia Romanoli. Is a teacher of Italia and the course of Italia, and I want to share with George that his experience about the project. Hello, Julia. Thank you very much to be here, and I want to hear you.
Hello to everybody. Good morning. I'm Julia, and I'm the Italian theater teacher. And I would like to share with you my experience. First of all, I have to say that this was a very important professional and human experience for me, very different from all those I have faced with foreigners. And it allowed me to learn more about a very complex and painful reality, such as that of refugees and asylum seekers, and to disprove some false beliefs linked to their situations. It's also allowed me to learn about stories, cultures, ways of thinking and acting that were completely different from mine. And I was so excited and grateful when I heard that the participants say that they felt welcomed and understood despite our differences. So I would like, first of all, I would like to say thank you to Fernando and David for this opportunity. Thank you to my colleague Annalisa Saviozzi, that is not born like a teacher, a theater teacher, but she's a psychologist, and her presence was fundamental in these pilot courses. And above all, thank you to Cosimo and Lucia from Cia Toscana for involving us and supporting us in the organization. I think that probably here in Italy, the situation is very, very complicated, and probably we would have had more difficulties organizing the pilot course in Florence without the support of Cia Toscana. Before starting to briefly describe the 2 working groups, I would like to make a brief introduction to Italian situation. In fact, every day, thousands of refugees and asylum seekers arrive in Italy, escaping from war and abusive situations. Almost none of them speak Italian, and most of them only speak their native language. So it was very, very difficult to find participants who could understand or speak not only Italian, but also French and English. But the language problem is what difficulty was not the only one. In fact, the Italian bureaucracy and chaotic organization of cooperative and associations dealing with hospitality slow down the research a lot, and we only managed to organize the 2 groups at the end of November. So we held the lessons at the Pane Rose Cooperative in Prato, near Florence, every Monday and Saturday from November the 20th to December 23rd, in the morning for the first group and in the afternoon for the other group. We have to say that the 2 groups were very different. Now I would like to speak about the group of the afternoon that is probably the most difficult and unstable, with a psychological situation that is very, very suffering. Initially, the group was made up of 13 members, all men, aged between 19 and 43, mainly from Africa, Bangladesh, and India. They were in Italy for a few months, 3-4 months. They didn't know anything about Italian culture and Italian language. Already for the first lesson, the participants perceive a climate of closure and fear. In fact, it was not easy to create a dialogue with them, both because the level of Italian was very low and because there was distrust towards Italian people. But the warm-up and theater exercises were fundamental in stimulating laughter and interaction between participants and in promoting communication with us teachers. As for the participants, the greatest difficulties can be traced back to the almost total lack of practice and knowledge of Italian language, which implied a significant slowdown in planned activities, because we also had to work on continuous translations, mainly in the first meetings, in continuous translation into English and French of almost everything we said. So then the stranger attendance at the course was very discontinuous of this course, mainly because some members of the group had to move suddenly, and because the days of the courses coincided with Italian lessons or Italian exams held in other structures. So as a consequence of this, it was very, very difficult to explain for them the concept of punctuality to the participants. So almost always the majority of them showed up for class 60 minutes late, and the time available to carry out our activities was reduced. The cultural level of the participant was very low, with few exceptions. It was impossible to apply more difficult abstraction exercise about theater, more difficult than the classic mime with body expression. So we decided to reorganize the activity in order to simplify the method of carrying out the exercises and to give more immediate responses to their needs. The principal theater techniques involved were glottodrama games. So very simple exercises to learn Italian language, Italian vocabulary, role play about scene of everyday life and how to get work. Okay, all types of way to get work, mime exercises, and invisible theater. And at the end of the course, thanks to the organization of Cosimo and Lucia of Cia Toscana, we organized a meeting with Francesco Ambrosio, that is the director of INAC Patronato, and responsible for citizens services, and Sandra Chiavacci, that is an operator, patronage operator, ready to answer to asylum seekers' doubts. So they these two people are colleagues of Cosimo Righini and Lucia of Cia Toscana, and work in the sector of personal services, in particular bureaucratic procedures such as, for example, the renewal of residence permits or family reunifications. Okay, and also thanks to these types of synergy, we could give a concrete response to the participants' needs for autonomy and independence. And so I would like to leave the word to Annalisa, and that she explain about the other group that is very, very different.
Hi everyone, I'm the other teacher of the Italian project. I help you, Giulia, and I talk about the other group that we had. The other group of participants was very, very different. The participants were older and people who have been in Italy for a long, long time. Within the group, only 2 participants had been in Italy for a few months, but one of them spoke Italian very, very well. The participants came from Morocco, Nigeria, Cameroon, Algeria, and had a high cultural level. In fact, most of them had studied and worked in their country and had a great life experience. Also in this group, it was much easier to understand and speak to each other, because everyone, except one boy, had good knowledge of Italian language. This allowed us to shorten the time needed to explain the exercise and those more difficult exercises. The participants came from different countries, and it was very interesting because it encouraged them to know each other and be curious about the customs of the other countries. In fact, right from the start, the participants interact a lot with each other and try to discuss the proposed arguments, starting from their own experience. The atmosphere, the climate was very relaxed, and the participants felt they were part of a group. In fact, there was a perceived need to talk about oneself, one's life, and the way of seeing the world, but also to listen to other participants. In this group, there was no sense of shyness and fear of getting involved, but the participants and operators felt on the same level, all there to learn and exchange experiences. We therefore tried to stimulate this climate of trust that had been created through group exercises and initial discussions. For example, it was very interesting to understand and discuss the different motivations that had brought them to Italy. Through the process, We try to make them protagonists by involving them, for example, in the creation of the work map. One of them, for example, was a sport instructor. Or in the choice of music that guided some exercises. For example, in one session, we asked them to share a song from their country to accompany the warm-up. Another interesting aspect that we noticed was the possibility of seeing the relation between participants who belong to countries that are at war with each other. Thanks to the theater, however, a healthy comparison between them was possible, and the awareness that despite having very different ideas, political ideas, in reality we are all human and similar to each other. A strong point of this group was that of being very open and curious about others and playing with others. People really loved the proposed exercise, underline that they had a lot of fun, that they learned a lot, and above all, that they left out their own problems by taking time to laugh and joke with others. So the project was certainly useful to push them away their condition as refugees and come into contact with the reality of our country, with our customs. The theatrical exercise we proposed were more complex than the other group. We mainly use role-play exercise that stimulates situations mainly related to work. With them, we were able to explain agroecology in more details. We were able to have a meeting with a company director who brought his experience and helped the participants to better understand the current situation of agriculture in Italy, in our country, and how to find work in this area. From the experience we had, we can say that the theater had a very positive impact on the participants, both in terms of mental health and in terms of knowledge and integration into our country. The participants were very satisfied with the activity proposed and were able to better understand some typical aspects of our country. It was very nice that they underlined that thanks to this project, they felt welcome in Italy. So thank you very much for this experience to David and Fernando.
Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you, Juliana, for your speech. You are so proud to be here because with your helps we can understand more of this new methodology. Now we can carry on with another experience. Like now is in Portugal. For this we have the speech of Ines. Hello, Ines. Nice to be here. We are so proud to you can explain your experience, and I only want to say start with your speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Good morning to all, and thank you for having me. So I'm Inês. I was the teacher in charge of the pilot course done in Portugal. I'm a theater and movement director, and I'm from Bragança, the town where the workshop was held in Portugal, a small town on the northeast of Portugal, very close to the border to Spain. I just want to say in the beginning, this was one of the most rewarding projects I ever participated on. And it gave me the chance to grow as a human and as a professional. And I'm very grateful to Naturge's and obviously to David and Fernando.
You are welcome always. You are welcome always. Thank you very much.
They help us guide through all of the process and allowed us to be part of the project. So to talk a bit about the groups, when I started working with the participants, there was a big amount of people interested in doing the group. doing the course. Sorry, so we had to divide them in two different groups. Two different groups. So there were people with different backgrounds, different immigration status, and most of them were actually under temporary shelter with a residence permit and a work or study permit. And they were not in Portugal for a very long time. They've been traveling, most of them, they were traveling across European countries until they arrived in Bragança in Portugal. So most of them were actually from Nigeria and also from Ukraine. We had some people from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sudan, also from Senegal, Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, and Guinea-Bissau. So all of this, all of these people came had very different backgrounds, and apart from 4 migrants from the Guinea-Bissau, none of the participants were Portuguese speakers. So the language barrier was a struggle, and all the sessions had to be done in different languages. So with one group, we had sessions in English and French, and with the other group, we had sessions in Portuguese and in English. So it took us some time to translate everything and to repeat everything twice, and we end up losing a bit of time doing that work. So their ages were quite apart. They had from 18 years old to 45 years old. Some of them were students, some of them were working. And they have very different backgrounds, and so because of that, I always try to adapt and tailor the sessions according to their interests, their needs, or even their limitations, physical limitations they might have. Every sessions, we always started the sessions with talk, and after that with some warm-up, either vocal or body warm-up, according to the work that we're gonna do. Having all these people in the groups, in spite of trying to divide them the best that we could into two different ones, actually allowed the participants to be more mindful of themselves and others, and to respect each other's opinions, views, or even sometimes shortcomings. We had some struggles, mostly in the middle, at the end, at the last part of the course, with attendance, as Julia was saying, it was a bit similar in Portugal, and with punctuality as well. So we end up losing a bit of time, but all the sessions had to be adapted because we were constantly losing a bit of time, either in the beginning or at the end. So always trying to adapt the pre-plan that I did according to the participants' involvement and the work that we needed and wanted to do. So when I started to plan the workshop, I based it on the training manual draft, the guide originally written by Fernando, and I divided into 4 phases. And as I said, we always did a warm-up, vocal and body, in each session. So in the first session, this initial phase, we took some time to get to know each other, talk about the project and the expectations they had about the course. I share with them some videos, some photos, and about social inclusion, not just of migrants or refugees inclusion, but different social inclusion, like ethnic or race groups or LGBT plus community. And we talked a bit about all this type of inclusion to provoke and always promote a constant dialogue and open and safe environment in the sessions. So at this initial phase, I started introducing some physical work by doing some basic theater games. We also did some breathing exercises, body and space awareness exercises, promoting mindfulness of oneself and others. I found this to be quite important for them to be in the present moment and to try to put on hold or at least pause it for a while, their problems or issues or their day-to-day lives. We also did communication exercises and theater games. In here, I try to, and I introduce some basic language notions, and we do like the alphabet, some numbers, colors, or body parts. But none of the participants spoke Portuguese, apart from the 4 people from Guinea-Bissau. So we always push them a little bit to try and to talk a bit more in Portuguese. So by this time, I noticed that the participants were more involved, and we start moving to the second phase, the theatrical practice. In this phase, we approach some basic dynamics of physical theater, like, for example, the push and pull dynamics or exercises of balance and off balance from the practitioner Jacques Lecoq. And I show them and we explore different methods on how to build a character individually and collectively. And we started to make actual theater the thing that they were quite eager to start doing it. So I start by introducing a few basic creative techniques like stare words or brainstorming to keep promoting their engagement and their creative side. I always try to promote the dialogue and encourage them to express more and to be more active throughout the process. And by showing them the different methods from different theater practitioners, for example, like I said, Jacques Lecoq or Auguste Boal or even Stanislavski, this helped them to push themselves to create and to explore different resources in different ways. So by the end of this work, we were able to create characters, scenarios, sets, even short plots, all collectively. And I believe by introducing them to this theatrical practice and improvisation work, the participants were able to be more creative, more confident, and to engage more in group activities, allow them to forget about their lives for a while and let them to be more open in exploring new things, which actually was an important step to move towards the third phase, the social and cultural integration. And in this phase, we continue with improvisation work. We just adapted to the social context here in Bragança. So we used possible scenarios and actual situations from the participants' lives to do role-playing exercises. For example, renting a house or going to the hospital, making a complaint, things like that, that we tend not to think much about them, but it could be quite a struggle for a foreigner to do, especially if they're in a fragile situation. So after this theatrical work, we also did some visits to museums and art centers, and we took some time to explore the town and to get a bit lost in the town and explore it and its history as well. So we talked about the customs and traditions from the Bragança's region, but also from their origin countries. And we actually find out there's more things in common than we knew in the beginning. And this shared experience was quite nice for everyone to see that we, in spite of the difference that we might have, we also have some similarities, and this helped to connect and to bond everyone with each other. So also discussed their hobbies and talked about the facilities or groups they will have in the town, and they could explore their interest in, for example, sports facilities or libraries or artistic hubs, art centers, things like that. And I noticed at this point the evolution of the participants, and they have more trust in themselves, and they completely lost their their inhibition, and they now are completely comfortable interacting with each other and with the community, and to go out there and to explore more and of the community they're in. Moving on to the fourth phase, because all the participants at the time were either study or working, I decided to approach this labor insertion phase slightly different than I originally had planned. So we talked about their future goals and how it would be possible for them to achieve them. Always let them lead the way, because at this point they are completely comfortable and to make those decisions, even though they could ask for different opinions from myself or other members of the group. They are now able to have a clear view of what they want and how they could do it to achieve it. We also discussed about what would be needed if they want to apply for a potential job, like, for example, doing a CV, presentation, communication, or even their soft or hard skills. And we also did some written exercise to help them and give them some visual aid, like, for example, the SWOT exercise, where they can expose their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats. And I believe this helped them to have a clear view of their wants and their needs and their future goals. We also did some theatrical practice, like we did before. The improvisation and role-playing worked. We just adapted to the labor context, like, for example, going to a job interview, a company meeting, or we even do actual daily routines from participants' lives. For example, we had some participants, they were working with chestnut. So they were able to represent by movement all the work they did throughout the day. For example, picking up the chestnuts, cleaning it, bagging it. So we were able to do exercises like that, despite preparing it for future goals. I also managed to establish some bridges with the local companies for potential partnerships and employment for the future, since at the moment of the workshop, none of the participants needed to to find other jobs. So throughout the course, I believe it was possible to see their evolution. In the beginning, they were quite shy, and as we went along with the process, they became more active, more involved, more vocal, and more assertive about their feelings, their needs, and plans for the present and the future. All of this allowed them to be more aware of themselves and others, and to push them to be involved in the community. I believe this integration has enriched both immigrants and the local people, and both parties shared and learned from different cultures, bringing the community together, ending up by recreating and forming a new sense of community, which was one of the most amazing outcomes. I believe in the course they were able to get some basic idiomatic notions. They were able to explore creative techniques and solutions, and to get the mechanisms to question and pursue their goals, while helping them with its determination to explore and confront the challenges they want or might need to overcome in the present or in the future. I believe this project has a tremendous, really enormous value by assisting refugees, asylum seekers, or immigrants in general, and help them to integrate a community. And using theater as an integration tool, we can help people to get in touch with their creative side, and I believe we can push them out of their comfort zone, so they can explore a bit more. I think this sharing throughout the course allowed a mutual learning, understanding, and helping, which goes along with all the European principles, and we try to promote the European principles and to embrace and involve everyone. So I hope this project can be continued in the future, and it has an enormous potential to be replicated in every European country, and maybe it could be an artistic and common response to help with refugee integration in the EU. And I'm finishing just besides, I just want to take some 30 seconds to
No, don't worry. We can spend what do you want. Don't worry about it.
No, just 30 seconds and I'm finishing.
No, your speech is very well. You can explain very well what's happening in Portugal, what's happening. And now I want to make
sorry,
some thanks.
let me just take those 30
don't
seconds.
Don't worry. You need some more time. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we
just besides obviously the organization, I really need to thank the local Red Cross branch here in Bragança, because the team, without their help, it would be impossible to do the course, and they helped a lot by finding all the participants in the group. So I'll just like to send a big, massive thank to the team, and obviously to Bragança's municipal theater and the Polytechnical Institute. They help us, they arrange for us the work, the space work. So without that, it would be quite a struggle to find a place to work in. So a big thank to all those entities, and that's it. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you very much. I don't forget, and in the end of this presentation day, I don't want to forget all of the people that work in this project. I want to give many thanks to all of the people involved in the project, above all the two entities that we have made that it possible, Cia Toscana and Corani, and especially to Manuela, Luisa, Cosimo, Lucia. Thank you very much for the bottom of my heart. This would not have been possible with you. And now I want to ask something where are happy to answer. Anybody in the class you want to make a question? Now is the moment. We did this journey to explain what we do, and now we want to share with the world. We start with a local, but we want to finish in the world. That's all. I don't want to forget all of the organization that with a few, with a lot, we collaborate with us, like Red Cross in Portugal, but we have another entities with collaborate with us. For example, we collaborate in Malaga with one moment. With San Juan de Dios and CIAR, because they help to us so much. If anybody have a question, I will close the present day, and I invite everybody, everyone that want to download the manual, read and try to teach the other. And explain the real impact that the people have this kind of that stay in this kind of situation, children seekers, expatriate, and something, anyone else that maybe me in the future, anybody that can believe what will be happen in 2 years. But I think so. This tool is so important, and we can help to us to better society. Thank you very much, everybody. And I think so is finished. And I finished my speech. The Oasis want to remains to come. Okay, I want to close with this sentence because it's so important. Remains to come. Thank you very much, and see you soon. And see you soon in the future with more course of Social Ecological Theater in all of Europe. See you soon.